Today, we're unpacking one of the most explosive psychological turning points in all of modern sports history. We're breaking down how a literal split-second gesture on a football pitch ignited an international firestorm and pushed a rising star right to the absolute brink. Get ready, because we are diving headfirst into the intense 2006 World Cup drama, the wink, and the massive backlash that followed.
Okay, let's dive right into this. I mean, how exactly does a single split-second wink make a 21-year-old the absolute most hated man in an entire country? When you put it like that, it sounds almost absurd, right? But the stakes here? They were astronomically high. This wasn't just some minor misstep, it was perceived as the ultimate betrayal. It transformed a young athlete into a nation's ultimate villain, literally overnight. To really grasp the gravity of this hostility and how one tiny facial expression basically caused an earthquake in the sporting world, we have to look at the incredibly combustible situation that led up to it.
So, to understand the friction, let's set the stage. It's the summer of 2006. We're at the FIFA World Cup Quarter-Finals in Germany, and it is a massive, high-stakes clash, Portugal versus England. Now, Portugal is marching through the tournament with legends like Luis Figo, but they've also got this 21-year-old rising global star, Cristiano Ronaldo. On the other side, England, featuring the fiercely competitive striker, Wayne Rooney. And here is the absolutely crucial dynamic. Ronaldo and Rooney aren't just opponents today, they're close friends. They are Manchester United teammates. But the World Cup has completely flipped their allegiance, pitting these two friends against one another as fierce national rivals, in what turned out to be a massively bad-tempered encounter.
And then, we hit the chaotic 60-second minute. The tension here escalates incredibly fast. At 0 seconds, Wayne Rooney, battling Portuguese defenders Ricardo Carvalho and Petit, loses his footing and deliberately stamps on Carvalho's groin right in front of the referee. Just 10 seconds later, Cristiano Ronaldo, who is obviously desperate to win for Portugal, sprints over and aggressively demands the ref give his club teammate a card. At 15 seconds, Rooney is absolutely furious at Cristiano's intervention and shoves him away in total disgust. By the 25-second mark, the referee pulls out a straight red card, sending Rooney off the pitch. And then, at 30 seconds, as Rooney is walking toward the tunnel, the cameras catch it. Ronaldo looks over to the Portuguese dugout and delivers a subtle, knowing wink.
Billions. Think about that for a second. That wink wasn't just seen by the players on the pitch or the angry fans sitting in the stadium, because this was a World Cup quarter-final. The television cameras panning across to Cristiano broadcast that split-second, highly suggestive moment to billions of people around the globe in real time. It was just a micro-expression, sure, but magnified on the global stage, it looked like a calculated, premeditated assassination of England's World Cup hopes. The whole world was watching, but one nation in particular was absolutely seething.
But honestly, the wink was really just the psychological setup. The absolute point of no return happened at the very end of the match. The game goes to penalties, and who steps up? Cristiano Ronaldo. He calmly smashes home the decisive winning spot kick. That penalty sent Portugal through to the next round and officially sent England crashing out of the World Cup. It was the decisive blow. If the wink lit the fuse, that penalty was the explosion that guaranteed Ronaldo would be public enemy number one.
Now, when the match ended, the English media unleashed an unprecedented fury. The tone shifted to something incredibly dark and heavy. The British tabloids branded him a traitor, cheat, and a villain. That wink, it dominated front pages all across Great Britain. The narrative was totally cemented. This 21-year-old had maliciously manipulated the referee to destroy England's World Cup dreams. We're just impartially reporting the facts of the coverage here, but it was extreme. It was a relentless, nationwide campaign of anger directed entirely at one young man.
The real-world consequences were terrifying, plunging him straight into an abyss of backlash. This wasn't just a few bad headlines. Angry fans physically targeted his house in Manchester, completely smashing his windows. The British tabloids were screaming for Manchester United to sell him immediately. And the psychological toll? It was massive. Ronaldo felt deep feelings of isolation, hated by an entire nation, and completely unsure if he could ever safely return to Old Trafford. The pressure was so severe that he seriously considered just abandoning the whole thing, looking for a transfer to Real Madrid just to escape the toxic atmosphere. He was absolutely desperate for a way out.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how his club manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, intervened to save his star's career. Ferguson flat out refused to let him flee. He executed this brilliant three-step masterclass in man management. Step 1. He didn't just call him up. He flew directly to Portugal to look Cristiano in the eye for a face-to-face meeting.
Step 2. He provided some crucial historical perspective, reminding Ronaldo how another Manchester United star, David Beckham, had survived very similar national hatred after the 1998 World Cup and actually used it to become even stronger. And Step 3. He tackled the elephant in the room directly. Ferguson facilitated a crucial private phone call between Cristiano and Wayne Rooney.
Which brings us to the ultimate question on literally everyone's mind at that exact moment. Could they ever share a locker room again? Just think about the immense psychological weight of this for a second. The media is saying their relationship is destroyed. The fans believe it is irreparably broken. You have two highly competitive alpha athletes who just clashed on the biggest stage in the world, resulting in a red card and national humiliation. Could they actually put on the same shirt, sit in the same locker room, and fight for the same club?
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive gap between what the public saw and what was actually happening behind closed doors. On one side, you had the tabloid narrative demanding an immediate sale, claiming it was absolutely impossible for them to ever play together again. But on the other side, the reality of that private phone call. Wayne Rooney actually showed incredible maturity. He told Cristiano that he harbored zero hatred, fully understanding that both of them were simply doing whatever it took to fight for their respective countries. The toxic public demands were entirely disconnected from Rooney's private understanding and forgiveness.
So, the crucial point is, armed with Ferguson's support and Rooney's blessing, Cristiano had to make a choice. And he consciously chose to abandon that easy escape route to Real Madrid. Instead of running away from the hatred, he decided to pack his bags, fly back to England, and walk right back into the fire to face the storm of English football.
But let's be real. Returning didn't magically erase the anger. He knew exactly what was waiting for him, a hostile cauldron of boos and insults. He had to brace himself for the terrifying reality that, for the next 9 months, every single away stadium he visited in the country would be an absolute crucible. Every time he touched the ball, he'd be met with deafening hatred from tens of thousands of people. It was an environment perfectly designed to completely break a player's spirit.
Which leaves us with this incredible concluding thought. Would this terrifying national hatred break him? Or was it the ultimate mental test required to forge a global icon? You see, the 2006 World Cup drama wasn't just about a foul, a red card, or a wink. It became the ultimate test of psychological resilience. How a player navigates that kind of abyss tells you exactly who they are. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.